Lucas Bergvall speaks about his transfer to Tottenham. Gary Lineker praises Spurs players. And an injury update for our squad. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, let's get into it. Football.London report that a new BBC documentary highlights the reasoning behind Bergvall's decision to snub Spanish giants Barcelona, with the Athletic Spurs reporter Jay Harris explaining the hectic circumstances behind the midfielder's choice to join Tottenham. Bergvall states that they flew over, they met their sporting director Deco in the mountains. He said this was when things got a bit hectic. They were in a restaurant, there were around 150 fans, paparazzi trying to get into the restaurant, trying to get a glimpse of him. Yeah, it was strange and I've never ever seen that before. Many paparazzi and such a stressful day. But in the end, the player and his entourage decided that Tottenham was the best location for him. The report goes on to say that Ange Postecoglou played a key role in this and that Postecoglou was really important when he met Bergvall. Postecoglou stated, "If you come here, trust me, you're going to play." The youngster took a few months to adapt to the rhythm of the Premier League, but once he did, he became a key Spurs player in the team. Former Spurs striker Gary Lineker is encouraged by Xavi Simons' early displays at Tottenham and has now provided his early thoughts on Simons' start at Spurs on the Rest is Football podcast. Lineker's praised Tottenham for their comeback against Brighton and Hove Albion on Saturday, a match that they drew despite being 2-0 down. And after calling Mohamed Kudus a real threat for Spurs, Lineker then briefly spoke about Simons, who had to settle for a spot on the bench initially at the Amex Stadium. Simons was introduced in the second half in the number 10 role, and the former RB Leipzig man certainly had an effect on the game. Sharing his thoughts, Lineker said, "I think Simons will do all right as well. He had a couple of opportunities where he could have perhaps done better with the finish, but he was busy and looked to be a threat as well." And here's a Tottenham injury news update for several players, including possible return dates. Randall Kolo Muani missed the match versus Brighton due to a dead leg. He'd been battling for 4 to 5 days. His condition isn't settling as he's hoped for, according to Thomas Frank, but a return date is expected to be back for the Carabao Cup tie versus Doncaster on the 24th of September, potentially first start for Spurs, if fit. Ben Davies, absent versus Brighton, suffered a slight knee twist, not considered serious. Return date, he also hoped to be available for the 24th September clash against Doncaster. Dominic Solanke has been dealing with an ankle injury which disrupted pre-season and hasn't begun many matches or appearances this season. He's back in training on grass, making gradual progress. Return date unlikely to be ready for the Doncaster match, but possibly available for around 27th September versus Wolves at home, likely from the bench. Other notable injuries, of course, Yves Bissouma starting to run outside, not yet with the full squad, no firm return date. Dejan Kulusevski still recovering from a serious knee injury, optimistic return in 2 to 3 months. Radu Dragusin out with ACL since February, still a month or so away, I'd say, but now back on the grass. Kota Takai suffers from flat plantar fascia, very close to returning with the group, but timing unknown. And James Maddison, of course, out after rupturing his ACL, expected to be back around April 2026. Okay, well, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. This Bergvall thing, it's really interesting to delve into that and see how and why he chose Tottenham over Barcelona. It seemed like he did have the choice. Barcelona was so keen on Bergvall, as we all know. And look, their loss is our gain, because Bergvall last season was great, but this season he really is pushing forward and basically making a claim that he should be playing every game. Of course, he's not going to, because we've got a squad and you need to rotate and rest these players. But Bergvall, I believe, is going to be an absolute superstar. He is going to be. I saw some other reports that he's Spurs could sell him for £100 million. We don't want to sell these type of players. If we want to progress, we need to keep the Bergvalls of this world, Still young, still learning the game. Prone to trying to do too much sometimes, Bergvall. When he was in the number 10 position against Brighton, he was buzzing around trying to do everything, and he's still learning the game. I didn't think he had the best first half actually against Brighton, but second half when he was in his more natural position, I thought he did well, really grew back into the game, made some really good tackles and influenced play as well. So Bergvall for me is going to be one of our most influential players over the next few years. And he's the sort of guy you not necessarily build a team around because he's so young, but my word, he's going to be a player for Spurs. He already is, let's face it. Gary Lineker's comments on Xavi and Kudus briefly there. Kudus, for me, has been our player of the season so far. You could argue Bergvall as well, but Kudus has been fantastic. And as Lineker said there, a real threat for Spurs. He always seems to, when he's on the ball, he kind of gets you off your seat in many ways, Kudus. And these players can't affect the game constantly. I said in one of the podcasts the other day, that players like Ginola, we all remember him for his flair and class, but he had quiet periods during games, and even games when he didn't do much. But we all remember the good things. And I think that's how we will come to see Kudus actually. When he got the ball at his feet, something's going to happen. And of course, he was so influential against Brighton. As for Xavi Simons, I think he looked a lot better in the number 10 role. Just seeing half hour or so of him against Brighton, but he's already shown what he can do. I think he settled well into the Premier League. And I think the number 10 position should be his position. Now, that's up to the other players to go and grab that left wing position, because that position is still up for grabs, in my opinion. We haven't really replaced Son yet. So anybody who's currently at Tottenham, that position is there for them. I think Xavi Simons will settle in the 10, because I saw enough against Brighton to see that's where he should be playing for us. But that left wing, go and grab it, because I think Spurs will go into the market in January. Well, hopefully they will, to get a really top-class left winger, because I think we're missing that. But yeah, good comments from Lineker, and totally agree with him on Xavi Simons. And as for the injuries, I read all those out. Obviously, we're hoping we can see Randall Colomwani against Doncaster on Wednesday. That'd be great to see him in the Spurs shirt and get his debut. Would he be number 900? I think he would on the legacy numbers. Can't wait to see Randall Colomwani. So he's not making his debut, is he? But he's actually. Hopefully he'll get a start, is what I'm getting at. Hopefully he'll get his first start and get a bit of confidence to get his numbers up at Tottenham and just get into that rhythm. He's going to want to get into that team and learn how his teammates play. I expect a lot of changes on Wednesday against Doncaster. But I think he's prime for Randall Colomwani to come into that team. I would love also to see Xavi in there. In the number 10, given 60 minutes in the number 10 to show what he can do. As for the other injuries, as just touching on a few, Ben Davies, obviously we've not seen much of him at all, have we? If anything, actually, this season. Hopefully Ben Davies will be back. You'd imagine he might start against Doncaster if he's fit. Kota Takai we've seen nothing of. So hopefully he's back soon. Obviously the long-term ones, Kulusevski and the Madisons, Dragushins, Bissoumas. Although Bissouma doesn't seem to be in Thomas Frank's thoughts much. But the long-term ones, how are they going to fit back into this team? It's great to have those options, Kulusevski and Madison. God, imagine having 5-6 months of the season without the pair of them. We have got backup though. It's not even backup in players like Xavi, so we've got that bit of strength now. But when they all come back in, that's going to be good problems to have for Thomas Frank, definitely. But let's hope the players can get back soon. And as I say, it looks like Dragushin is not too far away as well, so we'll have a bit more stability in the centre-back position as well. But get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on all these stories today. What do you think of Bergvall? What do you think of Simons? What do you think of Kudus? Anything else you want to talk about, get down in the comments, let me know. And as always, come on you Spurs.